Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic Gathering online league. We're back again with Eldrazi Ramp on the draw for game one. Oh, this one's a bit interesting because I want to really go Sanctum into Talisman. And then maybe Lab into Mycospawn or Command. So I guess we pitch the returns. We're kind of just hoping now that they don't have a aggressive deck, which doesn't look to be the case. Sanctum, Talisman, pass. Fetch, blue source for Stubborn Denial? No, what's it called? Spell Pierce. Oh, okay. I was not expecting Spell Pierce, but it does work all the same. This does mean we'd need a 7 mana value spell, so 12 hits there, or another Temple, so 4 hits there. So we have 16 hits off the top right now, so I feel pretty comfortable in that regard. Otherwise, do we just play the Lab? Probably. Draw. Null Drift does work. Question then becomes, do we Sowing Mycospawn or Command? I think we will hold for the Command. Right now 5, 6, 7 if they were to Murktide. So it might be better to Mycospawn into Bojuka Bog now. That would stop a Murktide. Yeah, that might be correct, because, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fetch land 6, 7. So, yes, I think I'll cast Mycospawn earlier than I normally would. For Bojuka Bog. Because right now I'd have a pretty difficult time dealing with Murktide. If I had a Devourer in hand, I think I'd hold and or go for Temple, but I think in this case I need to be a bit proactive. Shock for Froge. Pitch Ketra. Unearth. Okay, so it's Ketra Frog. 2 cards in hand. Temple. 1 for... I think we exile Frog here. Well, actually, what we could do is attack with Sowing Mycospawn, see if they block a Frog, pitch a card, and then do that. Yes, let's go that route. Combat. Do you block? If you block, pitch a card. You do not. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. Might be an argument for us to go Scry Draw. Though I guess if we go this, then we will trigger Sanctum. Do you have a force? Yes. For Devourer of Destiny? Alright. So far we're in the clear. Technically 6 cards in exile. 1 more card in exile and Ketra is online. Opponent scoops it up. We'll take it. So this is more akin to Oculus than it is to Murktide. Though it's possible it doesn't run any number of Oculus, which is something to keep in mind. Game plan's still more or less the same. Cut KGC in favor of Dismember and return. Cut the Ghost Quarters on the draw and run it back. Okay. So we'll be mindful in that regard. Dismember, Misty, Sanctum. What makes this hand good, if anything? Not really too much, to be honest. I think we do mulligan here. Like, yeah, we can turn 3 Null Drift, but that's about it. We'll mulligan. Hand's not much better. In fact, it's actively worse. We'll keep. Pitch, pitch, done, pass. Blue Delta, passing, draw, Sanctum of Ugin, forest, pass. Fetch for a Undercity Sewers, I'd imagine. Island. Consider, okay. There's a Ketra, so they could have an Unearth, I suppose. Audrey Grave Shock. There's a Froge. So currently can go up to X7, so out of Dismember range. I'll pass. Draw. Gemstone, you're a bit late, friend. I will play the Sanctum. Talisman. Pass. And hold. X8. X7. Harbinger? Harbinger is fine. X6. So I can't kill Frog, but I definitely can kill Harbinger. The thing is, the Harbinger here might actually hurt them more than it hurts me. So I'm debating whether or not I actually want to dismember it. I don't have any clean way of killing the Frog. But we can draw into a K command, and that would do it. Honestly, we'd be force checking, so I think I do kill the Harbinger here. And draw, K command, no K command. Verdant Catacombs. Play a Talisman and pass. Yeah, we would have needed K command specifically to kill Frog and maybe exile cards at a yard. And right now we're not bad as far as mana is concerned. Next turn we'll have 6. We're just at a pretty disadvantaged position. What's opponent tinkin'? Attack a Frog. Do you pitch some cards? And if you do, there's Cling to Dust, okay. That can always be escaped. Oh, Dark Blast. So it does have the Dark Blast combo, interestingly enough. They can then Dredge off the Psychic Frog trigger. do they dredge? I mean, then they would be able to play Oculus if they have that. No dredge. Okay. So no Ketra, I would imagine then. Well, I guess no. They would still be able to play Ketra and do... Well, no. That would be no point because they would want to do that prior to kill me. Yeah. Never mind. So what's our outs here? I mean, a K command would be good. Right now we only have 5. At most we'll have 6 next turn. End step, fetch with the Verdant Cat. For a commercial district trigger. I mean, a Sowing Megaspawn wouldn't be bad. Lab's not doing it. And draw. Oh, that's unfortunate. We're drawing nothing but duds today. And I'll say red. And pass. Alright, well if you have Ketra, you have the Dark Blast combo for the win, right? Because Dark Blast specifically is Dredge 3, yeah. Because you do that, exile, draw, rinse, repeat, make the frog basically as big as you can pay life. So, additional 14. Do you even need anything else? No. Okay, so let's see if they understand how to make this work. Trigger Ketra. Draw a card. They didn't dredge. Why? They could win right now. Unless they're worried about that. Like, where to have interaction? But I mean, it's not like it costs them mana. They then pitch the Dark Blast and rinse repeat. Okay. Draw a card. Dredge. There we go. Yes. Pitch Dark Blast to Frog. Yep. Rinse. You just need to do it 7 more times. Yes. The reason why I am going to watch this is because it does show me stuff in their deck that I otherwise might not know about. So also we get to see about Consign. That's a no-brainer. It's blue. Of course, that's Consign on the side, but it gives me additional info, which is relevant. Pitch the frog, or pitch the Dark Blast to the Frog. Rinse. Because at the end of the day, now they're shaping their hand, ensuring that they have counter magic for whatever. I have 1 card in hand, so as long as they have 1 counter spell. Okay, so they are playing Oculus. That's good to know. At this point, I imagine they're just thinking they have nothing. Spell Snare. Dark Blast. See, doing this is dangerous. Going 1 at a time makes a bit of sense. Okay, they're holding 1. So the held 1 probably in that case is a counter spell. So, fair enough. And attack for 11. Okay. So that is a loss for game 2. Let's move on to game 3. Yeah, Ketra Frog's interesting. I'm not sure if Ketra Frog will exist post BNR or how prevalent will be. I think Murktide is probably the direction that Temur goes, especially if Kaido seen more play. Kaido seems very strong. Because you can pretty much always guarantee it turn 3, especially if a Bowmaster, as you have quote-unquote wide board. Wider than most people on turn 2. On the play for game 3, we'll keep. This allows me to turn 1 imprint breaker. And then hold. The Delta fetch. We're gonna go for a Thoughtseize on 1. If so, I imagine they grab the command. No, preordain. So that tells me they don't have Spell Snare or Spell Pierce in hand. Draw. Utopia Sprawl's good. Temple, pass. Though not exactly what I want to see right now, because the window of opportunity to cast that's pretty narrow right now. Godless Shrine, Shock. If they play Frog, we're solid. Perfect. That was probably the best case scenario, because now we don't need to worry about permission. This is just going to resolve. Frog down, make 2 spawns. Pitching cards with Frog, why? Okay. Well, it tells me they wanted that engrave, probably to unearth it. We'll pass. Draw. Another K command. Misty Rain, fetch. For a forest. So in Mycospawn kick, we'll get rid of white or blue. White's only for Ketra, so I think we get rid of blue for counter magic. And then I'll grab a temple. This way we can command X1 if they do try and unearth the frog. I'll play to respond. Blue to Delta. In response, we need specifically a consign. No legal targets. No consign. That's good to know as well. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can world break. Play Wooded Foothills, fetch for a forest, sprawl for red, return world break, and cast. Targeting Godless Shrine, and go to combat. Fetches Polluted Delta for a Fatal Push? Nope, Sewers. Preordain into Yard, attack for 3. Next turn we do have Ghost Quarter, we can take him off of black. Play the Sewers. Not really too worried about double black, to be fair, so I think we don't need to worry about Ghost Quartering. Play Sanctum. Go to combat. And opponent scoops it up, and we got the win. Solid stuff. We'll be back for match 2. Alright, enter back for match 2 on the draw for game 1. Hand is very meh. Mulligan. Hand could be interesting. Be looking specifically for a soul land. We'll keep. I'll pitch the Emrakul. Reveal, reveal, and pass. We got Utopia Spell for red. Looking for a soul land with Devourers. Lush Portico. What's playing Lush Portico? That is Living End. Noted. So we do find the lab we're looking for. And lab. Okie dokie. Well, this does get a little bit interesting. Red, pass. So next turn, we at the very least can run Outswine, Microspawn, Bajuka Bog. They have no reason to cycle our turns, the problem, right? Malevolent Rumble. The spawn will die. Yeah, this is problematic. Ugin Lab. Imprint Devourer. Malevolent Rumble might be correct, though, because we hit some creatures, we at least then have blockers. Yes. So let's do this and hold up the red. We're looking for creatures to be rumbled over. I doubt my opponent has interaction, question mark? What? Blue, green? Waker. That's fine. Living End. Okay. And Force, of course. Well, that's gonna make things complicated, I fear. So, I mean, there's less creatures in Yard than there were. But now they're definitely going to Living End. Bolt. And Charlotte's Agent. Charlotte's Agent into Living End. 3 bodies on board. And then we can Sowing Microspawn as a blocker, at the very least. K-Command. Okay, K-Command's interesting, as we do get the Scry draw. I think we still do play Microspawn as a blocker here. And grab a Temple. I mean, Subtlety, if they hit Subtlety, that's not the end of the world. I'll grab Temple and pass. Hold ability or spawn on the off chance it's relevant. Go to attackers. I'll block the whale. Block. Yeah, so I feel like they're holding up a subtlety. Draw. Talisman of Impulse, eh? I think I can make this work. If I play Talisman, I then have 1, 2, 3, 11 plus 2 is 13. 11 plus 3 would be 14. Trying to think if I can potentially sweep the board, then devour her and sweep again. I think I can. The question is whether or not to play the Talisman of Impulse. No. Because if I sweep board X1, I guess the 1/1 or the spawn could be interacted with. Yeah, I think we just leave it like this. Hold up the command, hold up the return. X1 attempt to resolve Devourer, exiling the Waker. I mean, let's see if they just go for lethal here. They do not. They're holding. Go to combat. And attack. Cast the return. And then K command scry draw. Let's see if we find a land on top. If we do, then we can block the Waker. We do. Put it on top. So now I can block the Waker and pass. Next turn we can Ghost Quarter, exile Waker, and clear board with Devourer. Okay, we're not out of this yet. Generous Ent, Force Cycle, draw, World Breaker. Play Ghost Quarter and cast Devourer. Triggers. Target Waker and pass. We could see a subtlety, but if they subtlety before the return, so now they could subtlety. That's fine if they do, because we'll just put it on top and exile it again. Do they not have double blue? There's a double blue. Okay, so they do have subtlety as we expected. So I could just devour again. So I think we just put it on top. The only problem then becomes if they living end again, I suppose. At the very least, we take 3 down to 9. Next turn, we can exile the subtlety. And draw. Let's rinse repeat. Question of the day, do they have another subtlety? Resolves this time. Okay. So they could have a living end, which would give me back my Myco spawn. Thankfully, World Breaker would be able to then be cast and exile the Shardless Agent. So at least removing a threat from the board. Bolt. Interesting. That's concerning. Shardless Agent. Shardless Agent resolves. Would have rather seen an Ardent play, I'll be real. Finds the living end. And draw. Emrakul 3, 10. Fortunately, we are short. Why'd they bolt, though? That's my question. Exile Shardless Agent. So we're definitely not out yet. Right now, they don't have a good attack here. Because if they attack with Generous Ent and Windcaller Avian, we block the Avian. We'll gain 3 life, that's fine. And they just attack with the Ent, we block the Ent. So yeah, no good attacks here for them, which is good for us. Waker waves into yard. I mean, it makes sense for me to block the Avian and the Ent. It puts another creature into my yard as well. And then I have a fair block into Ent. Right? 2, 3, 4, 5. So block the Windcaller. Block the Ent. So now we have another creature in our yard. Draw. Rumble. Don't need the red source, so I will use that. Blue, blue for force. In that case, I'll play a Talisman and hold up the ability to return Devourer to hand. You attack with Ent and Agent? You do. Block Ent. Take 2 from the Agent. End step. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Return Devourer to hand. This way we can exile the Ent. Draw. Commercial district. Let's start off by exiling the Ent, but what if they have a subtlety? Commercial district first, trigger. Myco. I would like Myco, keep it on top. Exile Ent. Do you have another subtlety? You do not. Go to combat. Running your life total. Fetch. 4. Hedge Maze. I feel like this is going to be a pretty close game now. Subtlety into yard. And press the enemy. Endurance to block. Puts my yard into my deck. Yes. Then blocks. Okay, so that tells me a lot about what they're going to do next turn, I'd imagine. Misty Rain, 1 card in hand. Do they have it? They do not. Sowing Myco Spawn. Let's go to combat. Attack with all. I want to confirm one thing, that Bajukabog isn't in exile. Does not. We'll block. Down to 7. Sowing Myco Spawn. Any reason to kick? There's no reason not to. Sowing Myco Spawn. I will kick. We'll say Hollow Fountain. Bajukabog. Unless you have press the enemy, though I think that's only from hand, not from graveyard, so I guess would it be Halo Forger? Yeah, I think that's the card that would allow them to do that. But I think we're good. Misty Rainforest to 6. I mean, their only solution still to sweep board, right? So they do need another Cascade. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We'd be 2 short on Emrakul if they do sweep. There they go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 short on recasting the Worldbreaker. So of course they will find the Living End. Number 4. Ooh, actually they found nothing? Really? Yeah, I guess they had gone through all of their Living Ends. We'll take it. Alright, Living End, win for round 1. Let's go for game 2 sideboard plan. So Jailer in. We want to bring Chalice in. The thing is, Karn is kind of a bit meh here, especially seeing Subtlety, right? Return is out. I guess we could keep Karn for the Void. We could also bring in Consign to Memory as another thought. Or maybe we just run it like this. 3 Jailer, 3 Karn. Yeah, let's run it like this. Do need to keep in mind that they might swap over to Inevitable Betrayal or some mixture of the two. On the draw for game 2, we mulligan. There's nothing redeemable about this hand. The close thing is goes less command X1 on 2, but no, mulligan. Gemstone good. Devourer good. Karn good. Keep. Pitch back. Breaker. Done. Reveal Gemstone, exile Devourer, and pass, because now we can evoke Null Drifter, putting it into Yard on 2. Now keep in mind that might not be relevant, as again they might be on Inevitable Trail. There's Ghost Quarter, there's Utopia Sprawl. So I mean we could try and just ramp, but none of that's really great here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe Verdant Catacomb for later. Yeah, we'll go Verdant Catacomb. Draw. Oh, actually we can't Null Drift on 2. So yes, I think we go Verdant Cat. In retrospect, may have been good to go for Utopia Sprawl. Forgot that. We don't have another 7-mana value spell, so we can't simply just evoke the Null Drifter on 1. Verdant Cat is fine. We can find the Commercial District, see what's on top. If it's a creature, maybe we put it into the Yard. Put a pause on end step. Otherwise, you play KGC on 2 and go for a Chalice. Okay, only thing stopping us here from doing that is twofold: Force and Subtlety. Fetch with the Verdant Cat. Commercial District. Trigger. Sowing Mycospawn's tempting. At the same time, if it is still Living End and Mycospawn in Yard would give me a blocker. If, in instance, the KGC fails. Alternatively, we could go Sowing Mycospawn and Bajuka Bog, but then that leaves us open to Inevitable Betrayal, right? So I think we do put this into Yard. on the off chance that it is relevant. Draw. E-temp. Imprint the drift. Cast KGC. Do you have a force? Do you have a subtlety? Street rate, they're looking. KGC resolves. Minus KGC. Yes. For Chalice of the Void. Chalice of the Void, done. Pass. Force of Vigor. Well, that was unexpected. Okay, well, KDC stays on board is the good news. The bad news is that they do go into Inevitable Betrayal and grab an Emrakul. I don't have much in the way to stop it. So I guess we'll have to wait and see if they do have the Inevitable Betrayal. Living End. Okay, Living End's okay. We get back from Microspawn, hence why we put it there in the first place. So we have blockers. K command actually is really good here. What else do I have inside? I don't think I have too much here is the problem. Like, yeah, we could go Stonebrain. We could always minus for Tormod script. Otherwise, getting always plus. I can currently X equals 4, exiling the Curator of Miseries, Mystery, and make a field of spawns, or just scry draw. Scry drawing might be right. I will let's first see if this resolves. We'll exile the Curative Mysteries, as right now I cannot block it. Let this resolve. He didn't have a force before, but he could have a force now. That resolves. So in that case, we could still minus for a Tormod's Crypt. Do I think that's as relevant as of this moment? Maybe not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need at least 2 spawns. I think we do minus for KGC again. And then go Tormod's Crypt. Play Tormod's Crypt. It's possible they are not on Inevitable Betrayal, so it might be irrelevant. And pass. And hold out the ability to respond. Green, blue. Foundation Breaker will break the Tormod's Crypt. So at this point, I'll just target you and pass. Oh, they evoked it? Why would they do that? Okay, strange. Sorry, I got very confused by the fact that they evoked it or they stacked the triggers in the wrong order. I also thought they just cast it. They obviously did not. I'll block like this. And draw. Tick up on the food token. Play Breeding Pool Shock. Utopia Sprawl. For red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Return Null Drifter to hand. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. I did not pay attention to the fact they evoked it. Once again, they did misplay in how they stack those triggers. So regardless, I get either the body or the triggers. Which are you willing to give me is the question. If you have a consign, which I don't think is right for you to be playing. There's a land, that's about it. I guess you could still subtlety it if you really want. And I'll put it on top and we just draw another 2. KGC has more or less served its purpose. Yeah, that's fine. Yes, top. And I mean, at this point, I'm not blocking. I'm not going to save Karn, but I'll force him to attack with both. That way, Karn basically soaks up a total of 8 damage. So that's good for me. What you got? Waker, that's fine. I would like something to put in yard eventually, though. And KGC down. Draw. Before we do that, Utopia Sprawl and Commercial District. Green. This time for blue. Cast Null Drift. Triggers. Again, you can't play Consign, so we don't have to worry about that, but we could have to worry about another subtlety, I suppose. Okay. I mean, that's fine by me. I think I just keep it on top again, and then I can tuck it to the lab. Yeah. I'll redraw it. Misty Rain. Yeah, we'll go Misty Rain and pass. Question is, do I block the incoming 8 or not? Probably not, but a pause on end step. No blocks. Take the 8 down to 9, then go to 8 off the forest. And Stomping Grounds tapped. And draw. Tis a Myco spawn. Is kicking right or necessary here? I don't actually think so. I want to confirm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'd be 1 short on the Myco spawn and Drifter is the only problem. So I'm going to go Null Drift first, because confirming I need 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need another 7 mana value spell. Is more or less the solution. Draw 2. Okay, we got it. Ugin Lab. Imprint Breaker. Cast the Myco. This way we can grab Bajuka Bog and exile their yard. And pass. Okay, we have a solid board state now. We have World Breaker to follow up. I should not attack here. I mean, I'm going to double block something. Yeah, so we just pass. And pass. attacking just the end, making it a 7/8 or a 6/8 rather. So we would have to triple block here, which doesn't really change the math unless they want to kill 2 Mycospawn, but that gives me a Drifter with an Annihilator trigger. So yeah, triple blocking's fine. Do you kill a Drifter or 2 Mycospawn? I guess alternatively you could just kill a Mycospawn, but yeah. When you play Worldbreaker, we'll exile the Meticulous Archive. So Drifter down, draw. Return Worldbreaker to hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Play the Talisman. Play Worldbreaker. No reason to play the land right now. Fetch, or not fetch, but exile the Meticulous Archive. Guess the only instance where it would be relevant is if they counter it, but opponent scoops it up, and we'll take the win against Living End. Good stuff. That said, way back 4, match 3. Alright, and we're back 4, match 3, on the draw for game 1. Hand is kind of meh. What makes it better? Malevolent Rumble would be good. A Soul Land would be good. We can keep it. It's not my favorite in the world, but it is workable. Guess Talisman would also be okay. It's ramping into Mycospawn on 3. That's concerning, because that means this is Zoo. Either that or Rainbow Rhinos. Could also be Rainbow Living End, I suppose. Ragavan, that's a yikes. Trigger. There's the Soul Land. There's also Utopia Sprawl. Utopia Sprawl is actually interesting, because then it'll let me cast the Return. But the lab lets me cast the command. Difference is if we draw into a Soul Land, we can cast Mycospawn next turn with the Sprawl. Only secondary downside is that they could, of course, use a Leyline Binding to deal with it and or force it, I suppose. Yikes. Choices, oh choices. Let's go with Lab. I think it's a safer option in the immediate. I'll go Lab, Imprint Devourer, and pass. And if they do have the audacity to Besaju it, we can always then tap it and then return. Hold the ability to respond. Orchi Ragavan will get their hit in. And you get a Bajuka Bog. Not the end of the world, but you do play Flayed. I would have liked to have had that. Alright. Passing. Okay, so a pretty non-aggressive start, so I think they might have that Leyline Binding that we were thinking about. Stomping Grounds is interesting. Does mean that we can play the return next turn. I think I start off with maybe Stomping Grounds untapped still. Tempting, tempting, tempting. Yeah, let's go Stomping Grounds and Shock and pass. I mean, that's a pretty clear tell to my opponent that I have something, right? Xander's Lounge resolves. land, go to combat. Let's cast the return. If they counter it, it's not a force, that's fine. Whereas they counter the command, be less fine. Passing. Paying cost for a Kavu. If they go Kavu, we might go Command X2. A Flage is okay. Yeah, they only have 3, so they need, what, 3 more cards in yard? Draw. Again, Bojuka Bog is out, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. You can go Misty Rainforest and hold Command X2. Yeah, it's a pretty anemic game. I guess they will be able to fetch the Flooded Strand. Sign of Draco is a bit of an issue. I will admit. I can put at least 2 types into, or 2 cards into yard up to 5 would be my only concern with Flooded Strand. I will fetch with the Misty Rain. I would like to have gone with the Commercial District, but I think we need to go for a Forest. And then Command X equals 2. What I would like to see on top is a 7-mana value spell. Because then we can clear the board. There's Devour, there's World Breaker. Do we want World Breaker or Devourer? I think World Breaker is better, but both are good. So I think I go top, draw. Do you have a Leyline Binding? Would you use it specifically on Eldrazi spawn? Thankfully, no. We could go Sanctum of Ugin. 3 cards in yard. I don't think that's worthwhile, though, so I think we just go Forest. World Breaker. 5, 6, 7. Triggers on the stack. We'll exile the Leyline Binding. That way they can't... Or Leyline of the Guild Pack. That way they can't Leyline Binding my World Breaker. I guess they still can, because they should have enough types. I will sweep, so no Sign of Draco. And pass. Fetch, Plains, and there's the Binding. Worst case scenario here would be a fetch off the top. No fetch. Instead, another Flage. Down to 9, down to a theoretical 6. I would love a command off the top then. Either that or a Karn, actually. Karn would work for Tormod's Crypt. So command, Karn. Sowing Mycospawn actually can get rid of their second mountain. So that would be our alternative plan. Draw. Utopia Sprawl. So let's go Sanctum. Let's play Sprawl for blue. Kick the Sowing Mycospawn. And kick the Xander's Lounge. So now means they no longer have double red. Unless they find a land to get it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think in that case we will go for a Commercial District. Trigger. And try and set up. I'll put it on top. It's not the best, not the worst. And pass. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 minus 2 is 7, so I can actually cast the Sowing Mycospawn and draw. So I think we actually instead will just kick here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kick a Lush Portico. And opponent scoops it up. We'll take the win. Alright. On to game 2. I mean, I think we just bring in Dismember Return, cut to KGC and a Ghost Quarter here and run it back. Yes. Because we want the Bajuka Bog for the Flage, Cavernous Souls for Consign, and Gemstone since we're on the draw. This is not keepable. I mean, it's not like the worst hand in the world. Let me actually put that out there. The main thing that would make this hand better would be a Soul Land, which we have 8 of off the top. We can always run in Catacombs, fetch in a commercial district, so we actually do get to see 2, 3 deep for 1, which is not bad as far as the odds are concerned. If we do find just another land and we have a Talisman, yeah, let's go for it. I've taken worse hands. Not saying that you should keep these type of hands, but I've kept worse. Wooded Foothills, Ragavan. Yeah. See, the Ragavan's the real issue here, I fear. Malevolent Rumble. Good. We'll pass. I mean, we'll put a pause on end step. Lush Portico. Fine. Ragavan hit. What ya hit, friend? Devourer. Okay, could be worse, could be better. And plays Kavu. Burning Catacomb, fetch. For a commercial district. Commercial district trigger. I'd love to see a soul land here. It's not a soul land, but it is a land. And we kind of talked about this earlier. We'll go Sanctum. Sanctum, and then do we Rumble? I think Rumble is correct. Guess it's a blocker. Can dig us for a soul land. Unless they have a force. No force. Rough. I think we go for another Sowing Myco spawn. Not like we're going to be able to cast the Drifter anytime soon. Question then stands whether or not we will block. The answer is probably not. Not thrilled by that prospect, though. Otherwise, we have to rely on hitting a soul land, which is another 8 out of 46, which the odds are pretty good. But, yeah, not seeing a soul land off all of that is rough. Do you cycle? Nope, you get rid of Dismember. So you're getting rid of types out of yard, which makes sense. The funny thing is, if I let the Ragavan hit, I know for a fact I'm going to get, they're going to hit a soul land. I'll have to take the 7 down to 10, and then it's going to show a lab. Okay, command's fine. Like, I could X equals 1 next turn if worst comes to worst. Exile the Ragavan, block the Kavu, exile the Ragavan. Yeah, that's not bad. Tribal Flames down to 5. Yee. That's scary. Windswept Teeth. Good. But playing the Myco spawn probably isn't great right now. So instead, I think we do hold for command X equals 2. Exile Ragavan, make 2 spawns, block the Kavu. Of course, if they have a Tribal Flames, we're just dead. Tribal Flames? Oofta. Yeah, you got it. I mean, nothing I can do about that. Loss for game 2, on to game 3. I'll bring back in the Ghost Quarter and cut the Gemstone. Alright, let's run it back. Yeah, not much I can do about double Tribal Flames. My only saving grace would have been to have blocked the Kavu with a Ragavan the turn before. On the play for game 3. Is there any redeeming qualities to this hand? I mean, we have interaction, which is nice. However, but what makes this hand better? A soul land, question mark? Eh. Eh. Kind of. I mean, we have 8 hits, and we see 8 deep. 9 if you can count my draw in 2. So, I mean, I should be able to command X1. It's not ideal, but again, we'll keep. It is workable. Alright, looking for a soul land here. Whiff across the board. Oof. I'm gonna say no to that one. And... oof. Yeah, I mean, the percent odds were small, but did not matter. Pass. And pass. Good news about the breeding pool, at least, is the fact that we will be able to hopefully evoke a Null Drift to be drawn to another land. Steam Vent Shock for a Ragavan on 1, because when don't you have a Ragavan? Right? Yeah, okay. We have this member, which will play on their turn. I need to shock the breeding pool in case of a stubborn denial, don't I? Because stubborn denial says if you don't have ferocious, that the opponent can pay 1. And I don't want to play it now because there's a possibility they have a force. So I will breeding pool shock and pass. This is a lot of damage to deal with the monkey. But I really liked a soul land. Monkey attack, we dismember the monkey. And pass. Monkey down. Kavu, I'd imagine. Shock. Would really like a soul land here. Again, 8 hits off the top. Yes, there's the Kavu. Soul land would be ideal. Close. Name Eldrazi. Evoke. Draw 2. Okay, there's a temple, so that's a good start. I'll pass. So now we can do a few things, right? We can go Myco Spawn into Talisman. Arena of Glory is a bit scary. That was also Myco Spawn X equals 1 for command if needed. Flage. We might actually have to hold up command X equals 1. Down to 7. Draw. World break. So non-kicked Myco Spawn. And this way we can grab a temple or a lab. I think a temple. Now they have 5. They need 1 more card in yard. Whereas they can get in there via one of 2 ways. They can either trigger Kavu, of course they can also whatchamacallit, fetch. Okay, so there's no... Interesting. Down to 4. Do you have a Tribal Flames to finish it off? Yup. And nothing I can do about that? Rip. Yeah, I mean, we took some risky keeps on 2 and 3 and paid for it. I mean, if we had it, then we had a favorable hand that would have been able to do more a lot quicker. but just we're not able to. Is what it is. I played the odds, and the odds played me. That said, we'll be back for match 4. Alright, we're back for match 4 on the draw for game 1. This hand is not keepable. Only thing that would redeem it would be a soul land, and we don't exactly have a Devour to help us with that. So I'm gonna say no to that one. Mulligan. This one's much better, because then we have a command X equals 2. I will keep. KGC's kind of hit or miss, right? Because we go fetch, command, breaker. So I think maybe we either pitch the Talisman or the KGC. I'm gonna say, of course, the moment I do this, like I'm trying to think of the window of opportunity we're going to play the Talisman. There isn't really a good one, so I think we do pitch the Talisman. Done. And pass. Try and get a sense of what we're playing against. Opponent try almost pass through their entire turn. That would have been bad. In Eland, and pass. Okay, Lab does change things. The main reason why I'm kind of considering playing Temple Lab instead of Sprawl is because otherwise there's a chance of a Force, which will set us back a mana. So if it's a Frog, we'd want to exile Frog on 2. Now I do wish I had the Talisman, funny enough. So, bit of unfortunate circumstance there. I think we will Lab into Breaker to avoid potential for a Thoughtseize. And then pass. Yeah, so this way avoid Thoughtseize, we avoid Force. Okay, hold a little to respond. The question is, if they do play a Frog on 2, do we force check them? That's what I'm not sure about. Double blue and passing. Weird. Another Temple. We'll play the Temple and pass. We can use the command. See, the problem here is we can't really use the command as a permission spell, because then we're still force checking with the Karn, right? Want this. Merfolk. Ew. I wonder if I should have played the command. The reason being, they could now have a Flare of Denial. Not thrilled by that prospect, but we'll see if it works out in our favor. There's a Cavern Soul, so that does solidify this as Merfolk. Okay, do they have a Sevulin? Woman's Tinkin. They should attack first. That's right. Smart. I'll take the damage. And then what? Uncounterable Merfolk for Tide Shaper. ETB trigger targets. Command X equals 2. See if you have a flare like I think you do. Could also be a Spell Pierce, which would kind of suck. So I was correct about the flare. Rough timing, but that's okay. They should have went after the lab, because now I can KGC. Devourer. So if I go Temple, that gets me 5. Mystery and Force gets me 6. So let's attempt to resolve KGC. You have another flare. You do not. Tide Shaper is currently a 2/2. Now we could go EE for 1. I get rid of the Tide Shaper. Let's do that. It does mean if they play a Lord, KGC's down, but that's okay, because at that point, KGC is serving its purpose. So I'll go EE and pass. And pass. Cavern of Souls, name Merfolk, 3 cards in hand, Lord of Atlantis, so I was right about the Lord. Do you have a second Lord? Doesn't look like it. KGC will go down. Yep, unblockable. This also tells me they don't have a counterspell in hand outside of maybe a Flare. Windswept Teeth. So I will play EE for 1. Do I want to EE for 1 or EE for 2? That's a good question, actually. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, like, next turn I do have... yeah, we'll go EE for 1. And then I'm tempted to sprawl, but I'd need to crack explosives first. I'm going to hold off. This way I can fetch Misty Rain, or Windswept Teeth, rather. Go to combat. Fetch Misty Rain. Or Misty Rain, Windswept Teeth for a forest. And EE. Pass. Oh, Tishana's Tidebinder. Yeah. That's a card I haven't had to think about in a hot minute. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oof. Well, that is problematic. So I guess maybe we should have gone Sprawl. Well, shoot. Pass. We're going to take 7, 9 to 3. Put a pause on end step. Yeesh. If I'd done it on my turn, then we wouldn't have to worry about Tidebinder. Simply put, just not a card I've had to think about in a hot minute. So there's another Lord. That's 9, 12 exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's on me. Merfolk. Not a deck I've had to think about in a hot minute, and for that reason was not familiar with their list. We'll bring in Dismembers and return, cut to KGC and the Gemstone here. Run it back. Huh. Yeah, if I'd activated on my turn, they wouldn't have been able to Tishana's. We then could have played whatchamacallit, Utopia Sprawl, and then went to Devourer of Destiny, their lord. They would have Tishana's it, but still would have come in as a 6/6. I mean, at that point it's vanilla, but still. On the play for game 2, I will keep. Reveal Devourer. Trigger. Malevolent Rumble or Command? I'm going to go Rumble here. And do we want to lab this early? We'll lab. Tuck Emrakul and pass. And pass. Actually, in retrospect, maybe I should have tucked the Null Drift. Aether Vials, fine. And draw. Yeah, the main reason why I might have benefited from that, because obviously we have Rumble here. Rumble. You need a Force. There's the Force, pitching Force. Can't do much about that, so I'll pass. Next turn we can play KGC, or if they do make my lab into an island, we can evoke a Null Drift. So we have options there. Eland, and we see a kicked Tide Shaper. That'd be my guess. I would like to land a KGC, as it would turn off the Aether Vial, which will otherwise become a bit of a burden. But it looks like they're holding. Land? No. Command is good. I maybe should have held off there. Also realizing that we somehow managed to exile both our Stomping Grounds. No. How, what? I guess I just noticed the second one. Odd. Oh no, we don't have 2 Stomping Grounds, that's right. Because Temur only runs 1. Guru runs 2. Duh. I would like to resolve the KGC. I think we need to go for it. See if you have a counter. We could minus. If we minus, what would we grab? Haywire Might, question mark? We could also grab for a Liquid Metal. Actually, let's do that. Maybe not, in retrospect, because if they do that into a Lord, yeah, it's a bit of a yikes, actually, in retrospect. I should have just ticked up, I think. Because, yeah, if they flash in that Flash Merfolk, completely forgot about that until just this moment. If they flash in the Merfolk, and then Lord, we're in trouble. So maybe the Liquid Metal Coating's not the right move. We, of course, could go Haywire Might or another EE. EE for 2 is not bad. We could also go Chalice on 2, which is also not bad. So I think we actually might grab... Let's go EE first, and then think about that. Do they flash in the Merfolk? They do not. Oh, interesting. That was unexpected. Takes it up to 2. There's a Mutavault. Thankfully, they can't attack with it right now. Command X2 next turn. Playing nothing again. Weird. What are they playing? Commercial District trigger. Devourer to grave. We're not certain that this command will resolve, so I'm going to eat Karn Plus. And pass of command X2. Do you have a flash creature? You do not. Again, this is weird. Not sure what's happening. I mean, if they just go Mutavault and attempt to hit Karn, we can X2 it. I think if they tap out, we'll probably command and response prior to the resolution of the creature, just so that way I can play Devourer or Drifter. Opponent just scoops. I'll take the win. I'm just really confused. Okay. We definitely made some misplays, knowing what we know, but we'll bring back in Gemstone. And maybe actually Bog isn't doing too great here. Yeah, we can actually probably cut the Bog in retrospect. Let's do that. But there's nothing, they don't have graveyard hate, or we don't have anything in their graveyard to hate out, right? On the draw for game 2, or game 3 rather, I will keep this. Keep, pass. So we go Lab, Drift, Talisman of Curiosity. Reason why I'm not going Impulse is in case they counter the first Talisman, that way you can have a red source rather than a blue. And if it does resolve, then we can hold up Dismember, we can play a land, hold up the command. Lab, Imprint, Talisman. Hold up delay to respond. And hold up the blade to respond. This Dismember is going to help out a ton. Sporific Springs. Said it right the first time this time. And kick Tide Shape. Yes. It is an island. For now. Dismember. Tide Shape down. And pass. Draw. Temple. Temple allows us to X3. We'll keep. Hold up command. So this way if they do cast Sevulin, we can exile Sevulin. If they cast nothing, then we just use it as a permission spell. See if they have something, I suppose. Why would they have nothing? I'm so confused. X3? Maybe I should have held back 2 in case of a Spell Pierce. But also could just be a Consign. Okay, yeah, eating a Consign's fine. And draw. Reading Pool, kind of hesitant to play it just because it does actually help them. I'm going to play a Talisman. And pass, again, holding up the command. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next turn we can Null Drift if they don't play anything. Alternatively, we can command. Really? End step. Again, let's use this as a permission spell and hope we draw into something of relevance. Two. Drowner's fine. Not sure why you'd play that. Oh, because of Flare of Denial. I mean, that's fine by me. That's 2 cards for that 1 counter. Draw. Loaded Foothills, a little unfortunate. We'll play it though. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 1 short. Okay. I mean, we have them in a disadvantaged position, I feel, where they aren't applying any pressure to the board, and our top decks are always going to be better than theirs. This is another Tide Shape. Feels like it. Otherwise, it could just be a Lord, I suppose. If it's Tide Shape, they target Ugin's Lab, we return it, and then that's fine. So the better option would be to hit the Temple, as that would theoretically rob us of enough mana. Okay, spreading seas. That makes sense. So yes, they did what I thought they would. They draw a card as a result. Probably should have tapped 2 just to threaten. Pause on end step. Fetch at the Wooded Foothills for a commercial district. Trigger. Swain Mycospawn top. Based on that information, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold up the Null Drift, exile. Yeah, I think we just hold. Breeding Pool, shock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that way we can hold up the Null Drift. Kick Mycospawn, and we'll kick. Doesn't really matter. I'll say Zealand. Actually, it does, because they are playing the Verges, right? Yeah. And we'll grab the Cavernous Souls to ensure that our Null Drift resolves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'd be 1 short. They got nothing. I'll return Null Drift to hand. And draw. I mean, yeah, it's just going to be better for me to do this. And Pumpkin Seeds. Alright. Good win against Merfolk. Bit of a tight one there in few spots, but we were able to make it work. That said, we'll be back for match 5. Alright, we're back for match 5 on the play for game 1. We can make it work. I would love to see a soul land off this commercial district. It'd be amazing if we see a lab. A lab into Talisman Rumble would be on point. Main, commercial district. Asking you shall receive. Pass. And pass. What are we playing against? In retrospect, I probably should have registered that I was playing against Merfolk the second I saw the second island. Because, like, most decks don't run enough basics for me to see double basic. So it'd have to be mono blue, and the only mono blue deck that I can think of is Merfolk, yeah. Should have clued that in sooner. Wooded Foothills could be a lot of things. Mountain. I'm gonna say energy, but they would normally fetch for a Sacred Foundry, so burn. Hollow one. Understood. Ugin Lab. Imprint. Cast Talisman. And cast Rumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. KGC won't do much here. We could just grab Temple, which guarantees the Sowing Mycospawn. Would be a thought. My biggest fear would be a Burning Inquiry. And also allow me to block with the spawn. And we'll go temp. And pass. Well, ability to respond, and the off chance that you're running a Bowmast. Like I said, my biggest fear right now is just a straight up Burning Inquiry. Like, Faithless Looting, go right ahead, but Burning Inquiry would potentially wreck me. Commercial District tapped is fine. So it looks like this is the green or Gruul or Jund version, which could run Vengevine, which I'm a bit scared of. Flameblade Adept is fine. Do I block here? I don't think it's necessary. Take the 1. So that's a pretty slow start for them. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could go Devourer, but I think I will kick. Let's kick their commercial district out. And then I think I'll Ugin's Lab imprint the Devourer to insulate it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. This way we should be able to play either Drifter or Devourer based on our needs. Because, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Yes. Stomping Ground Shock down to 17. Goblin Lore. That's a bit scary. And 2 Blazing Root Wallas. Yeah. Okay. Cast 1. Cast 2. I mean, yeah, this is trigger all. So, Hollow One, Jesus. So I think we do double block the Flameblade Adept. I guess based on that info. Go to blocks. To confirm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So we will double block the Flameblade and then put a pause on end step. And then return Devourer to hand. That way we can exile the Mako. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I could have held back the Devourer. Yeah, so in retrospect, the right move may have been to hold back the Devourer, because we could have always returned it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could have returned it on our turn, and that would have allowed for us to cast Emrakul instead, which would have been relevant. So a little bit of a misplan on my part. Should have been a bit more mana efficient. Exile Mako. I'm gonna Bajukabog you. And pass. And pass. No more no more I think there's a Faithless Lady in that, right? No, there was not. At least this way there's no chance of them going Phoenix. Inti's fine. Do you want to go hyper aggro? Or do you want to hold back? Because, like, I'll block the Hollow One. Blazing Root Wallows can deal a total of, what, 3 damage? I didn't think so. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No attacks. Our turn, comrade. Does opponent scoop? Opponent scoops. We got there. So this is Hollow One. Win for game 1. We'll bring in Dismembers, Returns, cut to KGC, and the Ghost Quarter Bajukabog is actually relevant here. This is the Flameblade Adept version. So I'm not sure, and Inti, so I'm not sure if we'll see... We'll definitely won't see FOMO, which I think has kind of been phased out anyways. I think Mako Inti makes sense. Yeah, I think we just run it like this. The green does make me a bit suspicious of Vengevine, but we didn't see it, so hard to say. We didn't see black, so no Nethergoyf, I don't think. On the draw for game 2, we can keep this one. What I want to see off the top is a good question, though. Keep, reveal, pass. So do we want to go Breeding Pool, Shock, Sprawl, red? I mean, they have green. There's an off chance they run Beseiju, right? Like, it's a non-zero chance. There's Mako, Trigger. There's Rumble, there's Command. A second Command would be good, but a Rumble could enable Emrakul, so I go Rumble. Draw. Windswept Teeth, fetch for green. There's our Forest. Sprawl for red. And pass. And pass. So next question is, do we Rumble next turn, or do we hold up Command X2? Well, might not matter. Unfortunate about the Emrakul, but we do end up with another Temple, so that's okay, actually. Because we can go Temple, Rumble. If we just Rumble, play Temple, then we can Command X1. Yes. And I can at least deal with the Mako. Okay. Yes, I think we have a line. Unless something drastic changes here. Mako attacks for 4 down to 15. And passes. I will cast Malevolent Rumble. I'll grab another Temple. There's a thought to grabbing Lab just to insulate a Devourer from another Burning Inquiry. Actually, I think I will do that. Play Lab, Imprint, Devourer, and hold the command where X equals 1. Shock. Molten Rain. Well, you're rude. Though I'm surprised they... I guess it makes sense if you target the Labyrinth, it's really just me losing out on 1 instead of 2 here. And lose out on green and red sources, so yes, that will resolve. The combat... I will Rampant Exile, target the Mako. And my turn, draw, Talisman of Impulse, Wooded Foothills, and pass. In retrospect, probably should have played 2, 3, 4, 5. No, actually we're fine. I was thinking, in retrospect, maybe we should have played the Temple in case they destroyed a spawn, but that would be a lot of effort. Double Blazing Root Walla. Yeah. Madness 1, Madness 2. And put a pause on end step. Fetch with the Wooded Foothills. For a commercial district, so we have red. Talisman of Curiosity goes to grave. And draw. Utopia Sprawl is mana neutral, so we will Utopia Sprawl. For blue. And they know about the Devourer. We'll cast it and exile Walla. And next turn we can cast the other Devourer that's tucked underneath Lab. Unless they force me to pitch the Temple, I suppose. So a Burning Inquiry would be a bit of an issue. But not the end of the world. Mountain, 4 cards in hand. Oof. I mean, I think at that point it's right to target the Devourer. Like, yeah, I got rid of my blue source, I guess, but like, I still have a green source in the way of a talisman. So I think getting rid of a actual creature, an actual threat, is more important. That's just me. 1. Oh, gonna bestow. I think that makes it even more arguable that you should have targeted the lab. But also possible they might just kill me soon. Sanctum. I mean, they have the Arena of Glory, so I actually need to hold back on the off chance they have something. We'll pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can cast a Devour next turn. Currently, we're slated to take between 3 to 5 damage, depending on what they do. NT, so that moves it up to 6. Okay. NT trigger, pitches a card, pitches a Phoenix. That's a bit concerning. Yes. Do you pump up the 6? Exile another Inti. Yeesh. That could prove to be an issue, but only if you don't pump here. Because you can only do it once per turn, right? I'll take the 2 and put a pause on end, or take the 6 down the 2, pause on end step. Return Devour to hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sanctum of Ugin. Cast Devourer. Sanctum of Ugin trigger, and we need to exile the Detective's Phoenix. I will trigger the Sanctum, and I will find Emrakul. And then pass. No attacks. If they can haste something, they win. Goblin Lore triggers Inti. Burning Inquiry. Could shuffle out Emrakul. Oof. And if they're not confident in killing... Oh no, they can just detect his Phoenix and win? Yeah. Damn. Unfortunate. They did get there. You're just a little bit off. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't concede right away, because now we do see that Vengevine. That does scare me. And Ox of Agonis. Yeah, is this why sometimes not conceding is beneficial? Just get a little bit more information. So it did reaffirm what I suspected. Let's go to side for game 3. The question then is, like, do I bring in the jailers? Soulless Jailer reads, permanent cards and graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Maybe that is relevant. Because, like, that affects Vengevine. That affects... Does it affect Phoenix? Bestows casting, isn't it? I think you can cast it from the graveyard. So it's not entering from the graveyard. Yeah. And is it considered a creature spell? I think it's still considered a creature spell because it has the creature type. Even if it is an enchantment creature in that moment. So maybe Jailer just really doesn't do enough. I'd have to look into that a bit more. Alright, let's run it back. Though I probably should have cut the gemstone for the Ghost Quarter. On the play for game 3. You keep. we're going to be trying to set up for Emrakul. Reveal Devourer. Trigger. Kozilek's command is good. I will keep the Kozilek's command. Lab. Imprint. Drift or Devourer. We could also imprint the Emrakul to guarantee that it can't get pitched to Burning Inquiry. I think we go with Drift, though. Play Talisman and pass. And pass. Mako, okay. I'll play Cavern of Souls, name Eldrazi, play Malevolent Rumble. We hit a temple. I think we do want to go temple then. So that's 3 types in yard. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Well, I'll hold up the command x equals 1. Do you have a Burning Inquiry? Cycles the Street Wraith. Faithless Looting is fine. There's a Detective's Phoenix. Root Walla. Madness. I could currently... I think we don't want to go for the Phoenix just yet. I have an idea. Do you have a land for the Phoenix? You do. Shock. Then what do you attach the Phoenix to? Oh, jeez. Okay, so that changes things ever so slightly. Because they will attach it to the hollow one. So now I think I need to command X1 to exile the Phoenix from yard. Let me confirm one thing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So I think we'll do this. Actually, you know what I could do? I think this might be slightly better. If I go exile, exile. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. No. For some reason, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I do need the spawn. Oofda. Okay. From yard, me spawn, Detective's Phoenix. 1, Phoenix out. Yeah, if they had played it in the opposite order, Hollow One into land, I wouldn't have had the ability to respond, and that would have been unfortunate. So Phoenix out. This allows me now to Devourer as a Burning Inquiry. No, it's another Phoenix. You've got to be joking. Phoenix from hand. Yep. So we're going to take 10. That was the worst case scenario. I mean, I guess could have there been an argument for me to exile... Jesus Christ. To exile the Street Wraith instead, maybe? On the 9. Draw. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Temp. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I exile the Phoenix. I can then block a hollow one. We're dead on board regardless, aren't we? I take 6. If I exile a Mako, I take 6 in the air, block the hollow one. But then take 3 from the root Walla. Damn. Yeah, the second hollow one sealed things. Unfortunate. Yeah, I'll target the Phoenix, I guess? No, I guess I should have targeted the Mako and made sure that they saw the line. Because now it doesn't matter, they just attack all in. They don't even need to tap for mana. Trying to think if I had any other lines. I don't really think I did. I mean, you just attack in, it doesn't matter. I block the Mako, and I take 9, irregardless. Yeah. Even if I had the Emrakul, I'm not sure it would have mattered. I think the only thing that would have mattered would have been twofold. If I had exiled the Street Wraith instead of the Phoenix, or if I had exiled the Mako as well as the Phoenix. Because then I would have only taken 6 instead of 10. I'm still not sure that would have mattered in the end. It was unfortunately just a bit too close in the long run. But that said, sometimes win some, sometimes lose some. Hollow One is always a little bit tricky, as it quite literally is magically gathering the slot machines. And sometimes the opponent just gets there. That being said, that there will be the end of today's video. We were 3-2 at the end of today's league. Not a bad way to end this length of time. We've been keeping track of our record and tuning this list since February 11th to now. That is roughly how many? 294 games of Eldrazi ramp alone. Overall, the deck's performed really well. 62 win percent across that many games, which is kind of insane in the grand scheme of things. I think post BNR, the deck will continue to flourish. I think with Grinding Station supposedly getting banned out of existence, that will open up to different variations of Eldrazi ramp again in the way of non-KGC versions. What fills those gaps yet to be seen. You know, does Gruul take the forefront? Does Temur take the forefront? Maybe we start playing Writhing Chrysalis instead of Karn the Great Curator. Does the Karn board change dramatically? You know, moving away from the Soulless Jailers over to more traditional Karn pieces like, let's say, Ensnaring Bridge. Maybe Cityscape Leveler, probably more unlikely on that one, but Bridge would be a welcome return, in my opinion, especially with Affinity becoming more popular. People want to play with their opals, even if Grinding Station gets banned, right? So I think there's a lot of testing to be done post-BNR. There's also the possibility of unbans. I know some people are speculating on a Deathrite Shaman unban, which would be kind of nutty, but who knows? I mean, Wizard of the Coast did unban Mox Opal, and that threw people for a loop. So we'll have to wait and see for tomorrow's BNR, or I guess rather today's BNR, as I'm recording in the past, or at least speaking in the past, right? So regardless, should be a fun time. We'll be doing some immediate testing right out of the BNR. I'll probably be testing both a non-KGC list, a KGC list. Then, of course, we have like a week, right? Is it like a week until Tarkir? And then we get to also test the new Ugin in Ramp. We get to test the new Ugin in Eldrazi Tron, see if that is viable. Maybe test out just some general Eldrazi versions, not Eldrazi Ramp, but more just like bog standard Eldrazi mid-range with like Thought Knot Seer, Glaring Flesh Raker, Cyrus Seven Deaths, Mind Stones, and probably Ugin as well. So I think, you know, just kind of a basic shell for Eldrazi Ramp. Or not Eldrazi Ramp, Eldrazi. So, you know, we have Eldrazi Ramp, Eldrazi Tron, and then like Eldrazi mid-range, we'll call it. Or I think some people have called it like Eldrazi Mud Eldrazi, because it's just all brown, right? So I think there's a lot of cool things coming out of the BNR, and then later with Tarkir's release. I'm excited for it. Hopefully you all are too. With that being said, folks, as always, if you guys did enjoy today's video, please do consider hitting the like button, comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or just some general feedback. It is always appreciated. For as much as I hope that you all learn from me in both my successes and my failures, I hope that you can teach me something as well. Last but not least, if you have reached this point in the video and aren't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to our next goal of 1,000 subscribers. With that being said, folks, I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.